Oh my Lord. Guess who's back, ready to look at your Depop store and tell you what's good and what's not. Hi everybody, my name's Spencer Lamb. For those that don't know, in 2012, your boy set up a brand called Gully Garms, vintage secondhand streetwear. Unfortunately, last year I had to close it due to technical issues, life, Brexit, all the rest of it. And now I'm here on YouTube reviewing your Depops and giving you tips on what I've learned in the reselling industry. I have been bombarded with stores and I'm gonna have to speed through a lot of them. I think we've got the best part of 8 to 9 today. I'm not totally sure. Let's have a little look at what we've got. There's a lot of different things going on here. This is the sort of setup of people who focus on individually sourced and set type of items to resell. There's not really a massive consistency to how everything looks. Can I be genuinely honest with these photos? I am gonna be genuinely honest today actually. Why is it at an angle? That is great as a photo, but that is horror. Everyday gym trousers, I think it's good to add that. Quite good to add the original price as well, because I think that when you're selling stuff like Monterex, maybe they're new with tags, it is a bit of an all over the place with images like that. I feel like I'm in a bit of a tumble dryer watching and looking at it. The brands you've got are high demand designer brands like Stone Island, Carhartt. You've got a good variety of products. The consistency might not be something that you're interested in doing with the photos, and you've sold 10,000 products. Let's have a look at some of the latest reviews. Oh my God, so you're getting it in. Let's look for some bad feedbacks. We don't care that you've had positive feedback. Clearly you're a good seller, but we wanna see the cracks. Oh, perfect condition and received well, but would prefer if product came with authentication document. That's a specific, I think. The way that I would change things would be to look at maybe streamlining some of the consistency with the photos. I would just stop doing this stuff where it looks like it's dancing around the shot. Because you're working with designer brands, I would probably maximize the use of the close-up shots for your main photo. So it would be like that, except flip it that way and then do it like that. AGPG_shop. Very new store, 200 sold, 150 feedback, and I'm already excited by this one because what AGPG seems to have done is created a very nice ambient lighting situation. You see with these shots how there feels like there's this orange glow to it, which there probably is. So these actually are different shots, but they have a good level of consistency. I think when you're selling high-end designer brands like this, I can understand the need for an aesthetic like this. I think wooden flooring is one of the top tiers as well. When you can look at different textures, either industrialized floors or like wooden floors go a long way. The way that this presents itself is very nice. Despite the fact that these are mirrored photos, you can see the item clearly on a model. Has he specified how tall he is? Spine. One feedback would be maybe when you are wearing the items to mention that you are the person wearing it. Like if you said model is wearing this size large and is 5'11", then people get a good idea of like how that's gonna fit. Return in the original condition, message for policy details. I think that when you're selling products this stature, efficiency is definitely key. This orange tint or this light that's like bouncing off of the wood is creating a really nice orange glow and it looks really good. It's allowing the items to be seen very clearly, different textures that you can see through the fact that it's not perfectly pressed. I'm impressed with the fact that you haven't pressed the item. Highlight when you're wearing an item what your size is that you're wearing, because if you're selling individual items that are expensive, people will probably want to know what size you're wearing. The items look really cool. That's insane. Just add the measurements for yourself, dude, and make sure that you've said what size you are wearing. Next up, stepping correct, and let's see if he, she, who, he, him, her is stepping correct. You've sent me a page and everything's sold. How did that sell when it's basically in a different time zone? You've obviously sold all your products. So well done you, because the percentage rate that you have sold is impressive. Can't really give feedback on items that aren't available, but what I would say is keep doing you. It really hurts my eyes to see photos like that. Pristine Vintage UK. What's this for £4? What? Stussy men's t-shirts, Stussy available t-shirts. Why do people do that as a listing? Is it just like as a way of using the platform to promote yourself? I never get when these listings are done so that people use a listing to say that they've got products. This is a promotional post, do not buy as you won't be refunded. Damn. I guess people will buy it, and I guess that is something that you should actually include, because there will be people who, and there are certain elements of people who don't read, don't take anything into consideration, and they will be quite annoying. Quite a cool thumbnail as well, the logo even, should I say, the hanger on the rail, we love to see it. Lots more sold products. Bit flat on the lighting, I will say. There's clearly not that much light going on. Maybe it's a small static lamp that's quite far away. You look at a yellow t-shirt and it might stand out a little bit more. However, when you look at items like the khaki greens and you look at the sort of navies, they do just look a little bit dull. Maybe have a little look at what you can do to counteract some of the colorways. Nice that you actually put the right U in for the Stussy as well. So he's got all the information that you need, kind of to the point. Here, that's a cool t-shirt. We like that one. Ooh, but you can tell that it's got like armpit stains, unfortunately. Look at ways to wash them and restore them through real deep washing, because if you do that a couple times, it really will help the way the product looks. Even though that's a Stussy t-shirt, you know that people, as soon as they see marks on an armpit, they're gonna go, why would I spend 40 quid on that? I think that you got a really good store. The logo I really like. It's a Stussy related feed. Maybe work on uplifting some of this color, you know. Don't let the item be absorbed into the background that doesn't seem to shout that much. Right, next up, the stock room. And we've got somebody using a cool, interesting floor. Let's have a little look. Okay, so that's almost like the industrial graveled sort of floor. I'm very much here for the gravel floor, the industrial sort of look. Do you know what I'm not here for with this, guys? I'm not here for the fact that these items are doing the Soldier Boy out of the shot. It just looks like they're ready to fly out of the top right-hand corner. They don't feel centralized, and I know that an aesthetic is based on a subjective opinion that you might have. It's a bit like English. If you can justify what your aesthetic is, it stands on its own. Also, you don't have to justify anything from an overall perspective. So if the item itself is straight, but you work on varies of the shot, it's better than when you have a straight shot where the item's on the piss. And what I mean by that is that you can have the item like this, but you could be taking a photo from the right-hand side to give that diagonal perspective that you might like, but it just doesn't look like it's doing the Soldier Boy. Personal preference, I know, but that would be my feedback. I like the name The Stock Man, and I like the fact that you've got one of the old 70s Carhartt logos as the thumbnail. So these are really cool, Australian based. I think that this is your aesthetic. I just don't get this side angle. And when we're trying to sell a product, we're trying to make the customer's opinion and the way that they make that decision as simple and efficient as possible. If you look at that item and you go, wow, that's a really cool photo. I like what he's done there with that. Rather than being like, okay, that's a purple Adidas vintage sweatshirt. I like that because of the orange trim. Spen hates diagonal photos. Make that what it is, because that is true. Overall, I would just say maybe just think about different alternatives for it. Due to the nature of secondhand clothing, items may show some signs of wear and fading. Measurements are provided for all items as tags don't always represent the true size. That is a great point to validate to people. The tags don't always represent what the true size is, and it's good that you acknowledge that, for them to acknowledge that. Seems like this is a big part of your aesthetic, so overall, lighting and colorway is really nice. The choice of the items you're selling is good. The use of the material and how it's not straight and it's nice and like got little jumps and stuff, I'm here for it. Tom Cap Stick Dale. TCD, that's a lot easier to say. We have somebody who's got a soft background. Sometimes when you do items that are very close to the background colorway, I know that white on white like that, the reason why people use a white background is because it's just a neutral tone that can highlight all of the colors individually and sort of that the background isn't distracting you. Whereas when you have a background like this, items that work well are the navy. These look really cool. I think the jeans are banging, but what I would just say is just to be mindful of the different colors. Like the blacks and the browns look great. The North Faces look sick, and I would say that these and these actually look very dull. Just try a couple other ones and see how you get on. Lovely knitted jumper material. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice to add that sort of information. Model 6'1", we got a model in the cut. Mate, I was expecting a model. I know when you use auto descriptions, just remember to be mindful if you're adding information like that and there's nobody wearing it, it might not be a big deal to most people that see it. To me, if I was seeing that, where's the model? Is it Casper the Friendly Ghost? Overall, I think this guy, Tom, TCD, is really good. I would say try a different few options with the background colorway. See if you can find a few varieties. Ooh, that background looks really nice, and I can tell that was with more natural lighting. When the items have this aesthetic and they're like nice, despite the fact I would steam all items if you are going to do close-ups and use natural lighting, because natural lighting will highlight all the cracks and crevices a lot more. But this, my dude, that doesn't make the item look good. I think there's an art to the mirrored fit as well. You've got to make the mirrored fit look cool. If this looks smart and that looks shite, then that was a waste of time because you didn't fulfill it with the rest of it. When you use model shots, I would just say try and be a bit more mindful. That would be my feedback on that. Have a little look at some of the different color backgrounds. They're sick. This is sick with the light and how you've got it. That doesn't look good in comparison to these, mate. I can just tell how blurry the background is. When you look for backgrounds that are Google or Pinterest, find the dimensions that Depop uploads. Find the quality that it needs to be in order for it to have the right resolution on Depop, whether it's mobile or on the computer, so that when you're putting a quality photo like your own on the top of a blurry background, it doesn't have too much of a contrast. That would be my feedback for you, TCD. 28 vintage. Okay. We've got somebody modeling the clothes on a background but it's through a mirror. This one's more of a fascinating concept because a part of me is like, you've got the studio, you've almost got everything that you need, but you're shooting them with a model taking the photos on the background. The reason why you've maximized this in a positive way, 28, the ceiling is beautiful, and the fact that the model is capturing that in the shot was obviously definitely a personal direction. All I would say is you've got good photos, the model's great, but if you get the model to take the photo, or if you're the girl who's taking the photo and it's you, 28, there just has to be a very fine line with consistency with that. Like, this is very cool as a concept, but can have a feel that it could get run out pretty quick. I think it's really cool. The bit that throws me off is that seeing the camera is a little bit like, You could have her on a self-timer with a phone and get in the background of the top in as well. I just think that maybe you want to have a little think about whether you want your model actually using the phone to take the photos. Cool concept. I must say it challenged me initially, but I will say that I think you could improve it a bit. The model looks wicked. I can't even fault the way that things look and how it sits, but all I'm saying is you can still see the Apple logo and the ugly cameras on the phone. No offense, iPhone cameras, but I don't want to see them when I'm looking for an Adidas sweatshirt. These photos are really clean. I'm not sure what the shoulders are doing there. I don't know what their POA is. We've got to see the shoulders, but that makes the arms look very small. So if the arms aren't small, I know for a fact that you will have people asking you for the arm length of that just because the way that it sits looks a little bit skewy. I know we sit on two sides of the fence where you can either fold it too much and miss the shoulders, or you can keep it open and show all the shoulders. But the thing is when you show all the shoulders, it's very imperative that you put the arms in a set way where they can look good. They just look really short. This is funny. She has actually modeled at Gully before. Shouts to you. Got your name? No, it's Bella. Shouts to Bella. My genuine feedback, 28 Vintage, is that I think this is a cool concept that you've tried to attack. However, I would say work on different perspectives. The model looks wicked taking photos of herself, and you can tell that she's got a good look and it looks great. However, the phone as a perspective is not great, and the fact that you're getting a model to look good and also take the photos might compromise one element of it, whether it's the photography or the model's actual look. And in this case, I would say it's the photography. The model looks wicked, the arms look cool, the concept's great, but the execution is off a little bit. So that would be my feedback on their 28. Bogsy. Oh my Lord. That is one of the best photos I've seen so far. Spencer, you can't see a lot of the arms. It's all hidden in there, and there's a bit of a difference with what it looks like. This is creating motion and movement through an item with motion and movement. It's a basketball graphic tee with a feel of motion and movement. Do you know how clever that is as a concept? Shouts to Bogsy. That is one of the smartest ways of adaptation I've seen so far. And I think that that is a really cool front shot to get people to click and then understand and see it a bit more. Realistically, my feedback would be you could probably do that one shot as the first one and then keep all the rest of them straight. Seller sold item with obvious defect, which was not stated in the description. The only thing I would say is that the approach you've taken with the aesthetic is one of the best I've seen so far. This item looks great as a concept. The body of it and the arms look horrendous. This looks like Darth Vader's mask, mate. It doesn't look like the shape of a t-shirt. You can't see where the inseam goes to the arms, and it's a bit hard to understand where it sits. That would be one of the biggest things. So there's an art to use an aesthetic to help sell an image, but that image still has to have an item that is represented well. You've got a great approach. This looks great, however, that isn't showing what a t-shirt looks like. That would be my feedback for that. But when you put 19 times 28, I know that that might be pit to pit is 19 and 28 is back of neck to hem. But I guarantee you 99% of people that see that won't just instantly think that. The aesthetic is fantastic as long as the item is still represented. They've just got that slight triangle feel, that's all. Beyond Vintage Store, you've got somebody with the industrial floor. Really nice, the photos look clean. That is a concept that I can get on board with. I love the textured floor. The industrial approach to things really sits well with the secondhand, thrifty kind of like market of it. There's obviously different bits of lighting element that's being applied. That looks like it's taken at a totally different time. I think that approach itself is great. The consistency is fab. You've gone for a good mixture of items. Wow, that looks mad. This looks great. 500 sold, 298 feedback. You are going above and beyond. That one looks a bit mad. I don't know what's going on there. Change the numbers from the 2s to the 2s, because when I saw that first, a part of my eyes was going, what? What's the measurement? I wouldn't use numbers in the same sentence as a measurement that needs numbers. Overall, this looks great. Wherever you're shooting looks fab. It's consistent, it looks nice. I can see that there's a presence of natural light. You're using the diagonal shots at the right time at different points. Feedback's good, them shoes look mad. Let's go to This Way Vintage, and this is the last one of the day, and we are finishing it on a random one. What is going on there? Do you think that's acceptable this way? This way, Vintage, with all due respect to whatever it is that you're doing, wherever you are in your life, please don't shoot items with all of this nonsense behind it. I don't know what all this is. It's obviously a dresser, but I need to address a point. This does not look good. Just doing it in front of that is really not going to sell your item, because most people will do what I do and will initially click it and go, they won't care about the item. They'll be like, why is there a bottle of champagne and a water bottle and all these pads and pens and all this stuff behind it? Like, my feedback would be, to start with you, would be just work on somewhere where you can shoot in one place that's not going to have lots of distractions behind. Secondly, maybe just look at adding some measurements, pit to pit and the back of neck to hem, just to add some measurements so that you've got some. That was quite a mad one to finish it on, but if you're on the market for having your Depop looked at, feel free to drop a comment and let me know what your Depop is. I would love to check it out. And if you want a thorough video about your Depop, where we take maybe 5 to 10 minutes breaking your store down, I can do those videos at request through Patreon on a pay-per scheme offer where I can review it for you. For now, guys, I will just be zooming through them. Feel free to drop your comments and I'll be making these clips showing you people's Depops, reviewing them. And it doesn't have to be Depop. It can be Vinted, it can be eBay, it can be your own website, it can be whatever other platform you sell on. Just send the links. Let me know where it is and what it's on, and I will find it and we will look at it and we will give you some feedback on what it is. Now, guys, as always, thank you so much to everybody who sent their. Stay safe, stay sustainable, stay original, stay hustling and keeping your Depops and stores and all that sort of stuff fresh, and drop a comment with yours so that I can review it. And if you guys want more content from me, my Patreon page is £4.50 a month, and it includes 3 videos that are bespoke to more strategies around social media, flat lays, working with suppliers, just building a brand through an online space on an e-commerce store. Drop your comments down below and let's have a look.